Hi, I'm Matthew Craig, and you're watching The Market Bull. Joining me in the studio today is the Managing Director of Element 25, Justin Brown. Thanks for your time, Justin.
Good morning and thanks for having me.
So just firstly, give us an overview of Element 25's story and its flagship asset.
Many of your readership will probably know we are focused heavily on the Butcherbird Manganese Project, which is located in the southern Pilbara region of Western Australia. Butcherbird's notable for its large manganese resource, and we've been working on developing that into a long life mining asset for the last several years. We did a small-scale pilot plant operation for a couple of years in 2020, and we're now in the process of scaling up production to a much larger operation to produce about 1.1 million tonnes per annum of manganese concentrate. And the nice thing about Butcherbird is it's got a very long life ahead of it, with currently 18 years of reserve, but probably if you look at the conversion of resources outside that, we've probably got another 20 or 30 years beyond that in the fullness of time. So exciting project, really high quality manganese concentrate, goes into steel markets as well as some of the emerging battery markets also. The long life, the high quality, the fact that it's Australian is really important too in terms of what our partners are looking for. So yeah, that's where a lot of our energy is focused at the moment.
So how are things progressing at Butcherbird?
Yeah, so as you say, I just outlined a couple of the key steps, which was basically stepping off our platform that was provided by the Stage 1 pilot plant up into a much larger scale operation. So the nice thing about having a resource of about 280 million tonnes is that you can really you can plan big and look into the long term. So when you actually sort of look at that, bigger is better with bulk commodities, right? So part of the mission here is to develop a cash generating business that has a long life and actually can fuel the other growth ambitions that the company has. So the next step in that journey is to build a processing plant to convert the ore into about 1.1 million tonnes per annum of high quality manganese concentrate. The in-ground resource grade at Butcherbird is modest at about 10%, so we need to process that material up to about a 32% concentrate grade. It's a high silica, medium grade oxide concentrate for those that want a bit more technical detail. That is quite well suited to make silica manganese, which is one of the key intermediate products that goes into steel manufacturing. It's also, as we've discovered through our R&D program over the last 10 years or so, a really good candidate for converting into high purity manganese sulfate. And we've developed a proprietary technology to do just that. We've got a new flow sheet which is quite different to the incumbent technologies used in China, which uses much less power, has much lower waste stream emissions, and has very little in the way of environmentally concerning byproducts. So it's a great technology for future-facing technologies like electric vehicles and grid storage and defence applications, where batteries are becoming ever more important. So really great asset. The plan to move to 1.1 million tonnes is an important step for us. We're currently focused on getting to construction of that. We've just raised some equity to close out the project financing. That equity will sit alongside debt funding from the North Australian Infrastructure Facility, and that puts us in a great position to start construction the middle of this calendar year for commissioning in Q1 2027 of that larger scale processing facility.
Could you just take us through the development of the HPMSM facility in Louisiana and how is it progressing?
Yeah, so the technology, as I said, is quite unique and revolutionary in terms of serving these future-facing technologies for battery applications. So as your readers probably know, we did a deal with General Motors and Stellantis to underpin the construction of a refinery in Louisiana to supply their requirements over the next 5 to 7 years. That was then supported by a $166 million grant from the US Department of Energy, so really well supported locally for the construction of that facility. We're just working through final sort of steps to get to financial close on that. Hopefully towards the end of this year we'll hit that milestone, and then we can look towards construction of that facility after we finish construction of the processing facility at Butcherbird. Probably worth mentioning as well that that's one step in a number of steps that we plan to take on that journey to take more of the material from Butcherbird downstream. We've also got discussions and MOUs in place with partners in Japan to replicate that in Japan as well, and we'd also love to build a facility in Europe in the fullness of time. And I think when the time is right, we also have ambitions to build something here in Australia as well. So the idea over the long term is to convert more of that concentrate material into a very high purity manganese sulfate monohydrate hydrate, which is a key raw ingredient for existing and emerging battery technologies. As you know, manganese is one of the critical minerals that everybody's looking at the moment, with a view to sort of aligning their strategic interests with long-term supply of these critical minerals, and manganese also fits into that space as well.
And just lastly, what are the next steps for Element 25, and what news flow can investors look forward to over the coming months?
Yeah, so I think, to state the obvious, obviously construction of the processing facility Butcherbird is a key focus, and you should expect to see more news on that. There's obviously a bunch of key commercial contracts that have to be finalised, and that includes haulage, mining, construction contracts. We've also got offtake contracts that are coming. We've also got to get through the financial close stage with NAIF, and as you see those milestones hit the news boards, you'll note that we're getting closer and closer to that magic construction start date, which all should happen pretty quickly from here. So then we enter a construction period, and then not too long to wait before we get first cargo on a ship in Q1 27. So it's going to be a busy period for us.
Thanks for your time today, Justin, and best of luck with the next steps at Butcherbird.
Thanks so much.